devoid of the church.
So I didn't say all secularists accept abortion, but I would say that all that accept abortion are secularists,
Maybe I mean some are Christian, but
in
I
my
agree.
view.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
you're still generalizing there, which I don't like. It
I
seems
just don't. I don't know that that's a Christian ethic.
Have you
So if
never
they're
looked? Have
accepting it,
you?
if they're accepting abortion, they're not accepting it under the. I don't believe. I would not accept that the term that they're accepting under the.
You breaking up, Justin?
But that doesn't mean that God. That she. Am I breaking up?
Justin, yeah,
yeah,
you
you
I'm
are.
just saying we can all. Can you hear me now?
Nope, one bar.
No. No.
Good.
Okay. How about now? Is it better
Yeah,
now?
better.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm just saying that not all I'm just gonna say any Christian that accepts abortion as morally valid is not gonna be accepting it under the Christian paradigm. They would just be having some idol in their life or something. Like I'm not saying they're not a Christian,
That's
but
fine.
it's
I
not
know what you mean.
they're not
I had
acting
got
in
an
Christian.
abortion. I had an abortion with the baby that I'm holding right now because I got tired of holding him inside of my belly, so I wanted to get him out. I had an induced. I got induced, right? Because I was going through a nice amount of stuff. So I mean, is that bad?
Definitionally, is that
Well, no,
is that-
my point was just about tolerant. What side is being tolerant? And I'm saying Christians have, if you look at it from our view, we're being very tolerant and not, taking to the streets and having some martial law over mass murder in our country.
I get what you're saying, and I think what you're trying to harp on is the fact that maybe atheists take their position to be the default, and then they are the tolerant ones or that secularism is like the generality, right? It's like the neutral position, and Christianity is like something. I don't know. It's a juxtaposition or some shit, and they're the ones that have to be tolerant towards Christianity as opposed to maybe Christians being tolerant to other positions. And where I think that fails is that that's probably just blatantly wrong. And I think most secular philosophers or philosophers that are maybe pluralist would just disagree, and they would think that like all positions are tolerant towards one another. But again, I just don't like generalizing anyone.
Yeah, but I mean,
Aspects.
there are general statements that are like true.
Yeah, well, I said it earlier. Why are some deconstructionists hateful? Some people are hateful.
Yeah.
You can't generalize any group of anybody.
I mean, you can. The question is, should you or should you not?
Technically, you should not. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but you still can.
But then that would say more on, I guess, how much you value the individual. That says a lot more on you, I would say.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point that Louis was saying about the individual named thinker, right? There was a generalized understanding of, how she internalizes Christians to be, and without taking into account him as an individual,
Did you see her dunk on me, Alan? Or try to, at least?
What did you say?
Did you see Thinker try to dunk on me?
No, I
weren't there for
didn't.
that?
No, I haven't been in the debates like
Yeah.
that.
It was a failed try, but yeah. Go ahead.
That's crazy. No, oh my God. I'm sorry about that. But it's one of those things where, like, if you value individuals, right, agency and autonomy and things like that, then you wouldn't generalize. That's kind of what I'm saying. To generalize, right, is kind of to throw out the individual, the outliers, the black sheep, all types of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree.
So, sorry, man. Give me a second. Breezy, he's new on the panel. Go ahead, bro. Answer the prompt.
Why? I think I have no answer for that. I just think some things are just like it's cool to do. It's like the cool thing to hate on Christians, to think that we're stupid, and over time that trend becomes part of their identity. And and once they get to a point where like they can't shake it, so they have to like roll with it. So like, cause if they give in, it's like they almost losing their identity. It's like reverse dogmatism, right? Because some Christians have dogmas, and it's like we can't shake them. And I think atheists have the same thing. So it's just a trend that becomes an identity.
Also, for the record, I do want to say I am not talking trash about any deconstructionist. I love my deconstruction brother and sisters. So exclude me out of the Christians up here that might not
I'm
like
not Coco. Screw that, bro. Evidence First sucks. Yo, Evidence First is like the worst atheist on this app. I hate him. I love Forrest, but Forrest can be a prick sometimes.
Force is cool. Thinker is cool. I love my deconstruction brothers and sisters. I am not talking any ish. I am not in that group.
Coco, come on. You can't excuse
I
bad
don't like
behavior
the
either way.
political. That's
You
that's
can't
no, that's a
excuse it.
good point.
If you were there yesterday, Coco, and you would have seen how she treated me, you would have been like, yeah, I'm not on board with that. Because you know me.
Yeah, I'm cool with you. I think
That's
you're
another point. I do think that there's a political aspect to the hateful deconstructionists online that
Oh no, damn for sure.
that they do work to shame and cull some type of political power. And you can see it in how they try to force people to mob them. You can see it how they try to. I literally have seen Forrest go into a live, say, "Hey, if you see this guy, just ping me because I want to come and dude." Like it's like a little high school gang where it's like you're trying to amass high school level power to pull like peer pressure and create like people to submit to like your whatever agenda you have. And it's not like, hey, we're just all chill. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. We can all just, find our own corner of, the internet.
Before anyone goes, I'd like to even comment on that. Like, I agree with you. Like, I can say like sometimes atheists do it, but like, where was this energy at when like Christians were doing it to me, right? Like, like some of my complaints were that I would join panels and try to have like a good faith conversation, and like other Christians would stand by and watch as like I was belligerently like mod abused, and people would try to gain mod powers, kick me, silence me, and slander my brand and say that I did things that I didn't do. And like, yeah, Christians are horribly vicious. And I can also agree that like atheists are horribly vicious as well.
I want to chime in here. I'm not throwing any shade. I've been in a chat with Justin W. and they've called me like a heretic and muted the hell out of me and kicked me. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of patience and love for like my fellow human being. Fuck a Christian. We're all humans. I don't see you guys.
Well, were you being
But when
heretical?
people are abused, used, and thrown out, I mean, Justin W. is why I started going live in the first place. He literally treated me like absolute dog shit. And then I realized that Christians will probably come to my life and not be treated like that. So there's just things where Justin W, hold on. Just hold on, I'll let you talk. Dude, I'm not going to cut you off when you talk either. It comes to one of those things where like you got to have patience and sympathy and empathy, but I have little to none for people that are just crazy. I mean, it's like Deathless Light. Have you guys ever talked to Deathless Light?
Yeah, we know.
I don't think Deathless Light is okay. Like, genuinely
he's not
speaking,
mentally stable.
No,
yeah,
he's
and
not.
I think that being open and honest about things like that shows
Is that
we
an
have
atheist
sympathy
or
and
a
empathy
Christian?
for our fellow men.
Joy.
He's not a Christian, bro. I don't know what he is.
Oh my god.
Joy.
I'm gonna say right now, the worst atheists are like evident. I mean, probably fucking like Forrest to most theists. But dude, Joy, Present, Darth Dawkins, Deathless Light, they are worse. Like they're like the like Joy's live is literally genuine rage.
Well,
bro.
they're not
I
here.
can't lie.
Listen, they're not here to. They're not here to defend themselves, but I just want to know. Oh shit. Okay, they're not here to defend themselves. I would like to. I would like to know, like, what our conversation was that was so hateful to you, if you recall.
You were using Moto Logic and things like that. When I told you I didn't know what Moto Logic was, then you were like, I can't have any grounding and stuff like that. You kind of just disengaged my argument by saying that I have no grounding in God. Therefore, I can't make an argument, and kind of just muted me and kicked me.
Yeah, I've never made that argument in my life. But if you had like, if we weren't able to communicate, right, and you were just question begging your view, yeah, I'm gonna, just like anyone that's debating, they're gonna kick you from being obstinate about question begging your view. If you don't see a problem, if you don't have a problem, it doesn't matter. If you don't have a problem with question begging, then the debate is over.
Oh, I wasn't question begging. You said that I had no grounding in morals. You said I had no grounding in morals because I wasn't a Christian. Therefore, I don't believe in God. Therefore,
What was
I have
that? What
groundings
was
and
the
morals. That was literally the
what was the
argument
prompt?
verbatim, Justin. I don't have to sit here and showboat.
I've
I
never
don't.
made
I
that
genuinely
argument.
don't care about
I've
this
never
life
made that
thing.
argument.
But
I've
I
never made
will
that argument in my
say
life.
that. Hold on, dude. Just calm down. It's all right. You can talk in a
Well,
second.
this is what you're. This is
It's one of those
demonstrating the
things
way
where,
that we
like,
debate it.
dude,
This is the way you debate.
Never mind. You're good. You say
You
whatever you want, Justin.
ignore. I've already said that I've never made that argument. So it's not.
You've
you
made
don't
that
even
argument
question.
to me 2 to 3 times.
Okay, so what's the prompt? What was the prompt about?
Who knows, dude? It was like 2 years ago. Who cares?
I haven't been on this app 2 years.
I've seen you.
I haven't been had live,
something like that.
I haven't had live. I've only had live access for like 6 months.
That's not true.
So gentlemen, maybe y'all should rehash that conversation on each other's
I'm sorry.
But
I just don't want to talk about people that are not here. And he put a slew of claims. He put a slew of claims together.
It's all right, bro. We can talk about it in the messages if you're that tight about it, brother. But this isn't your first account. All types of stuff.
This is my only account. This is my first account.
Hold on. I'm going to give you guys an example of something like this that happened to me. I was accused when I first started getting on this app. I'm not going to say who because we're good friends and they are atheists. But I got accused of a similar thing of like supposedly that I was calling them some like homophobic stuff. And I was like, that's not me. And they're like, no, it was you. You 9 months ago, you said this, that, and the other. I was like, I swear that wasn't me. I just got on like.
Hold on, was that on my live?
And I'm not gonna say who. Y'all stop.
I think I remember.
Anyway, and anyway, I basically I followed that person around, and then I said, "Hey, you need to stop saying that because it wasn't me. Go look back at who that was." Well, they ended up like coming back to me and saying, "My bad. That wasn't you. It was just the same name," and it kind of triggered me. I said, "That's fine. It's okay." I said, "You know what? I'll tell you what. I forgive you because that person really dragged me through the mud." I said, I'll even pretend like it never happened and we can just be friends, moving forward. And that's what happened. And we're still like, we're cool to this day.
Yeah, that happened.
So
happened to me the other day,
you wait
too.
till I remember, Luis. You wait.
Manny, stop.
That was in my live. I remember that. I'm gonna find out who it is.
That happened to me just the other day. It was this like wannabe critical scholar guy. I forget his name, but he was like, "Man, you just came on my live the other day and on a alt account," and I was like, "Bro, I wasn't on your panel." He's like, "Yeah, it was you," and I'm like, "No, I don't have an alt account. Like, what are you on about? Like, if you think that this is," and then that's another thing, Alan. Like, if you think this was on a different account, I don't have another account. It's more likely that you're recalling something that wasn't me.
Well,
It's okay. To be honest with you, dude, like I'll just keep it real brief and short. The fact that like I remember the argument exactly, dude. I've been in your life so many times, and it was like the same thing that like probably Thinker did to Lewis the other day, where it's like you go in somewhere and it's just they already have a bias to your perspective. So when I go into places and I tell people that I'm an atheist, sometimes they treat me like a child, like I'm just ignorant or unable to answer things or somehow slow boy. Like I've been called a lot of really weird, low things. And I'm not saying that atheists don't do it either or that secular people don't do it too. I'm saying people do it. I'd say that like more open than just anything. I would just say that there's been times where I've gone in your live and the argument was shut down before I got to present anything. And then when I told you I didn't know what modal logic was, which is very just
thinking
simple.
of someone else. Man.
Okay, that's fine.
So
I think that. I'm going to stand 10 toes down and I'm willing to stop talking about it, Justin. I brought it up just for argument's sake, but if you're going to just talk about it,
you're representing arguments I've never made.
People on the live would rather talk about something else.
Gentlemen. Before you do that, Alan, are you sure? You sure it's him? Because I mean, that's like 112%. His profile photo.
There's nobody else.
There's no Vice City Taco Meat is hanging out. Okay, and
there's nobody else with that profile picture. That's name is Justin W.
So why do you think I had an alt account? Why did you say I had an alt account? Why did you say that?
Because you said you've only had live access for a year, and on my other account is where I met you, right? So that account I've had for almost 2 years. It's been a year and a half at least. So it doesn't make sense that you've only had live access for 6 months. Unless you have another account. But again, guys, please, just for the sake of the argument, can we just drop this and talk about something else?
So Alan, thank you for sharing that. Justin, I'll let you respond and then that'll be the end of it. And
I'm
you
good.
guys,
I'm good. No, we can move on.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah,
Nah,
I just wanted to defend. I wanted
Keep
to
it
defend my
going.
name. I
Yeah,
just
that's what
wanted
I'm
to
saying.
defend.
Go
I was just
ahead.
trying to defend my name. Like, listen,
Yeah, go ahead. That's what I'm
I
saying.
have,
Go ahead.
I can give it. I can, if someone's being obstinate, someone's being dishonest, I can give it very, very aggressively. I'm not denying I can give uh, a tough. I can be a tough interlocutor, not just in debate, but like just in my demeanor and how I communicate. I own that. I'm not trying to shy away from it. And I'm not shying away that I've been offensive to some. But some might have a valid claim that I've offended them in the way that I've conducted myself in a debate. I just wanted to know, my problem was what the particular thing I was arguing, whether or not I felt I could validate it. But when you reproduce the argument that I made, I've never made that argument in my life. So I can't defend an argument I don't believe I've ever made. So that's all I'm trying to say.
Mm. But I guess like overall, like I guess my point was like the deconstruction movement is obviously about breaking down Christianity and trying to see what it is truly and decide whether to like believe in it or not. And often people are, kind of against Christianity when they go through deconstruction. And like, why might they be hateful? Well, yeah, because Christianity seeps into like politics, and then also like, yeah, maybe some atheists have been mistreated by Christians, and like it can be an emotional conversation when like discussing whether one should believe in Christianity. And then obviously like on both sides, right? Yeah, there are atheists who will seek mod privileges and then like sort of ban certain people from like the community, which sucks. But then like at the same time, I also think that's something that's also common on the Christian side. And actually, there was something I was thinking about like earlier this year. Like I'm open-minded to like Christianity being true. And when I was a Catholic, I thought that Christians were like the good guys, right? But what I've sort of come to like notice, especially like on TikTok, is like it seems like some people want to wear the Christian title and say like I'm Christian and be friends with Christians, but when it comes to like character, it's just kind of like not there, and it becomes like a Christian gang, and like, yeah, we're all on the same team and we're here to like beat up the atheist, and it's like okay, I mean, I get like, what do I do with that, right? I thought we're seeking truth and like they're the good guys. But yeah, I've noticed gang culture amongst like atheists, but I've also noticed like gang culture amongst like Christians. I know that's kind of weird, but like Justin, you're
ain't lying
totally
though,
right,
bro.
right? Like there is like this high school petty like like gang up thing happening, but like I noticed it from both sides. I know gang is like a weird word, because it's not like the Bloods and like the
Not Bloods, Chris. More like East.
Nah.
Like, what is it? The what was it? East. What are they? What are the
West Side Story?
West Side Story kind of gang.
West Side Story. Nah, but you know what?
The Christianity though.
All right, guys. So before we continue, J Rob, we got a new panelist. Go ahead and answer the prompt.
Why are some deconstructionists so hateful? Okay, so yeah, I mean, I honestly, some of it could be some church hurts. People have things that they dealt with in their past and stuff, and they come on TikTok to, I guess vent or just like cope with some of the stuff that they've gone through. A lot of times, like they'll come on TikTok with like, these crazy backgrounds about, Jesus is evil monster, or, Jesus is trans, just mocking Christianity and stuff. So, I don't think it has anything to do with, the people that they interact with on TikTok. I think it's just something internally. So ultimately, I just think it's just like a coping mechanism that they do to get on here and try to, make Christians feel bad and make them feel superior because, stuff that they've dealt with, in their personal lives, that they might feel some type of way about their, their quote unquote Christian experience. I guess that's my take.
Luis, there's some truth to what Coco was saying though, for sure though.
Continue the conversation.
I be going to some of those the Christian lives. And you've got the different doctrines, and let's just say I've been in a live, man, where, or I guess because I was starting to, I won't necessarily say take, but explore the oneness doctrine, the Trinitarians, who I frequently went into their lives. You know, they start to treat you a certain way. Now, I mean, I don't care about, I'm saying, how I'm being treated. I'm gonna be honest with you. That stuff don't hurt me. I don't take offense to that stuff. But I see that, like, if you are a Christian and you're trying to bring people, closer to Christ, or keep people rooted in the Word and the Holy Spirit and things of that sort, to kind of take that kind of like combative stance, the very same thing that I would listen to them, kind of like this conversation we're having right now. They would talk about atheists in the same manner, but then you're doing the same thing, but you're not holding yourself accountable. I guess when you do it, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me, I'm losing my voice, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, and you said something earlier about interpretation. And I would argue that people interpreting the Bible is the reason why there's 30,000 plus denominations. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm at a place where I do, I am coming to know Christ and getting the Word. But I'm sure the Bible says not to have faith in man. So I don't have faith in man, but I'm also at a place where I'm like, damn, dog, like,
Yeah.
how many years has, like, or how many people before us, right, have tried to tackle it, have tried to give meaning to certain scripture and this, that, and the third, and people will have different meanings. Like, I got a buddy of mine who, he doesn't like using any concordance. And the reason why he doesn't like using concordance is because, and he brought up a valid point, you have a Hebrew Israelite, you have a Catholic, you have whatever denomination that takes one word and says, okay, cool, let's just go to the concordance. And then when they go to the concordance, each of them are just going to take that word and bend it to mean what they want it to mean in their view. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of a weird thing. But then again, I still see the atheists doing it as well, too. I see atheists do the same thing. So
it's almost as if, like, it was a bad idea for God to trust in human beings to carry out spreading his word.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I'm not very knowledgeable in saying that God had a bad idea, or not. I mean, if you account for the free choice or free will, independent of God's will, argument, then I don't see how that,
or even let me ask you this question: like, what do you do if you have, like, a Christian who, pride is a sin, but, like, there are some Christians on TikTok who have problems with, like, pride, and even the atheist is calling them out, right? But, like, they won't listen to anybody except for God. So then, like, what do you do at that point?
Well, number one, that sounds very specific. Two, I mean, I can't control how that person internalizes. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm trying to understand your question here. You're saying, like,
so let's say, like someone says they're Christian, they have a good relationship with God, and, like, pride is a sin, right? But this person is being, like, extremely prideful and, like, not Christian whatsoever. And, like, the Christians are calling that person out and the atheists are calling that person out, and this person won't listen to anybody except for God. Like, what do you do at that point?
What are you supposed to do? You can't really do anything. You would just have to rely on God's will.
Yeah. We just have to wait for God to, like, correct this person, and this person might even go their whole lives just being like.
Theoretically, he would have to correct himself.
You're supposed to pray for him and just let God handle it.
Yeah. Well, he would have to want to do it himself. Like, it's really out of everybody's hand.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead, Ferry.
God damn.
Hold on, guys.
Luis.
Hey, Ferry.
What's up?
Go ahead, Ferry.
I don't think I've ever been on your actual panel, Luis, even though, well, obviously I see you everywhere.
Yeah, I just decided I don't really run panels, but today I was like, why not? We'll just do a quickie here. So yeah, what do you think about the prompts? Since you witnessed you witnessed what happened to me. You were
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, no, why do I think that deconstructionists are hateful? I guess that, well, I think that it's not limited to deconstructionists, first of all, but that's not the point. But, I guess that what I feel like I hear for some of this is, largely, I hear two major things. One, I think that it is because people that are religious make make decisions in the real world that can affect the lives of people that are not a part of that religion, and they don't like that, and that makes them angry, and so they fight back against it. And that's, if you feel like you are in a war against something, then you just, you will go 10 toes down. If you feel like you and your rights and whatever it is are being attacked based on somebody else's privately held beliefs, right? Which shouldn't really be interfering with you. So I feel like I hear that one a lot. And then I think that also I see a lot, even though you will rarely ever hear them admit to it. There are definitely a segment of people. Usually they're people that are like recently deconstructed themselves, and now, you see this happen though, like kind of with Christians too. Like once they like have decided that they have gonna take the faith or get rid of the faith, whichever way, they kind of go like all in about it for a while until they like calm down a little bit. And in that little window, everybody can get quite feisty. But for people that have left whatever church they may have been in, oftentimes I think there is a lot of overlap with people that have had bad experiences and been abused or felt abused or whatever it may be, and they're angry about that, and so they are kind of returning. They're kind of returning.
So the favor, yeah. So
Yeah.
Ferry, since you are an atheist and you watch, what did you think of how I reacted? Rate me. Give me a unbiased rating.
Rate
Thinker?
with the T. Rate with the T. With the T.
Rate, yes. How did I compose myself considering I was getting jumped by a pack of wolves?
Oh no, you were great. Like, you never once raised your voice. You did not swear at Thinker. You basically kept your composure the whole time, which is how I know you to be everywhere else as well. I very rarely have seen you get, uppity about anything. And you were yourself. You were just calm and together and, trying to say, hey, you even apologized. Right? Like you even apologized. You were like, hey, like if this is the thing, then I'm happy to apologize for that. And it was just written off entirely. It was not, they just rolled right on past it.
Yeah, I think it was a big misunderstanding on both parts.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, I did feel bad because I'm like, oh, snap, he did say and go over like what he actually meant, but I get both sides. Like to her, when she repeated what he said, that came off to her as like, he meant it that way. So she went off about what Christians think, and then you have, and she was repeating it, and based off of her view, she's seen it as, him being, gaslighting her. And then on Lewis, and he's like, hey, I didn't mean it like that. Like, that wasn't my intention. And he explained it. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Yeah, like, well, I feel like that was obvious too, because like literally nobody that was there, not me, not you, not Thinker, not anybody. When Thinker repeated what you said, all of us were like, yes, we all agree. And even you were like, yes, those are the words that came out of my mouth. But then when we all agree that we heard the same words, but there's some kind of contention that then immediately points to next that obviously there's been like people have taken different meanings from the same set of words, right? And that I don't think that doesn't have to be antagonistic, right? Like it's not a bad thing if people understood things differently, right? But how you handle it after that, and so I guess that like, especially when you were given the opportunity to clarify, and so you did, and then what happened after that was you were told that you were gaslighting because you clarified, and I was like, that I don't think that's right,
Yeah, and that's
like,
sort of like why I put this prompt up, because I think people come into conversations and project the avatar of a Christian and their previous experiences, and they say he must be saying, rather than hearing my explanation for what I said and accepting it at face value. It's more so like, no, he must have some evil intent or ulterior motive, and that's just not the case. And that's why I was telling her these attacks don't work on someone like me, because the people in this room know how I operate. And I noticed how none of my atheist friends who know me, a few of them actually messaged me and were like, I'm sorry they did that to you, because I know who you are and that wasn't fair of her to do. And I appreciate all of you who did, because it was obvious to everybody else that she was just off on her own little like parade or whatever she was on. And it wasn't actually the substance of what I was trying to engage with.
Hey, Luis, real quick. Hey, y'all, can y'all please go ahead and tap the screen? Let's go ahead and get the 20K.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, that's right. Share it. Go ahead and share and repost. Luis, I will say this, though. I think they basically were calling you out for the filthy word, because I believe that you're using WAGMI defense to indoctrinate people to follow the Antichrist. So, and by the way, WAGMI defense is this game. Go ahead and download it. Show some love.
Wait, so Luis, you wanted me to promote your game to spread Christianity? Oh my god.
That's exactly what it is. Go ahead and
I
download
was
it.
literally thinking about playing that game too.
WAGMI defense, people.
I might still play.
Yeah.
Oh no.
like I will say this, because like I'm not super familiar with Thinker, but like they are very clearly a highly intelligent and well-versed person when it comes to all of these. And so it makes me a little bit sad that acerbicness exists, because I'm like, dang, like just a little more honey and a little less vinegar, and so, because they obviously, I mean, they were probably one of the most knowledgeable people that was on the panel, if not the most knowledgeable person on the
is
panel
Thinker
at
two
that
people?
time.
I'm confused.
No, Thinker is one person. I think Thinker
Who's
is
they?
one. I think they is Thinker.
Well, and I was going toe to toe with them. Like, I wanted to engage because I know they were very, very smart, in terms of like their argumentation. But that whole thing got derailed because of the, what happened. So it's like, I don't think I'll be able to engage with them anymore, because they're already going to have this like presupposition about me and their
Man,
interaction
Lewis,
with me.
you better fight back, boy.
Oh,
Jesus
God,
the
fight.
tables, my boy.
No. Look, listen. I'm gonna be nice and extend like peace, but if they want to continue, I will put my foot on their neck, and I'm just gonna say it now, so y'all know. If y'all see me putting my foot on people's necks, it's not because I wanted to. It's because you forced me to.
Yeah. Also, another
So
reminder.
I'll just say that.
Did you call her
Another
broke?
reminder, I am friends with all the deconstructionists, so do not include me in this. Thinker is my friend. I am not a enemy.
Yeah, he's been up here for 30
Right.
minutes. He's been up here for 30 minutes. Think about the stuff that he was saying while you weren't here. Don't believe me.
I am playing Fortnite and just
He's trash.
hanging around.
He's trash at
Yeah.
Fortnite.
I'm actually like really
he
good.
helped Christianity.
Coco, come on, bro. Listen, you're my little bro. You don't need to apologize to anybody. You are a grown man, my
Yeah.
friend. And I'll tell you what, I don't apologize to even my Christian friends if it is not anything that I'm doing that's offensive directly toward them. It is what it is, man. I'm not asking you to pick my side. All I'm doing today is bringing up an issue that I think needs to be addressed across the board. So don't think like you're picking my side. This is just something I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And I think I was there, but then I left before everything like happened. But
It really hurt, huh, Luis?
Like I think being willing to apologize the way that you were is sort of, evidence to the fact, like it speaks to the fact that you were not trying to gaslight, because when people are trying to gaslight you, they are not going to apologize, right? Like when you say to somebody like, "Hey, look, like I'm sorry if that's like what was understood," and you were genuine, right? You weren't being sarcastic about it, right? What you're doing when you do that is you're acknowledging that that person had a real experience, right? And then you're trying to say like, let's clear what this experience was, or try to come to like a mutual understanding about it. And people that are genuinely trying to gaslight you, they do not do that. They do not give an apology in any way that is sincere. And if they do give one, it's like, okay, yeah, well, I'm sorry that you misunderstood it. They say things like that. That's what real gaslighters do. So I just don't think that it was any of that stuff. And I would like to see it just come to a nice resolution. Like I think that would be.
Nah, it's war now.
Now, but
it's war.
But I was thinking, like in my mind, I was like, okay, I see you. You did explain yourself, but I'm like, I hope that this man is actually genuine. But based off of my conversations with you, you seem genuine. So I was like, maybe Lewis is actually being genuine. So I'm gonna just take it as that, because I can't really tell. I can't go inside and and look at you in your mind. I can't do that. But I think you were being genuine. But yeah.
I mean, sometimes it just takes experience with people. So like even a stalemate would be a good start, because then it at least allows for people to not not just be going at each other, and then like when they cross paths again, to have more experience with how one another are, because ultimately we are in a medium where nobody sees each other's faces, and heck, even if you did, probably a huge number of us are all, neurospicy. So, it's like it might not even help to see people's faces, so there's a lot going on. I think it just takes time sometimes to get to like understand how people communicate.
You want to be friends with Thinker Luis? Is that what I'm hearing? It sounds like my widow Luis was heard.
Oh no, it's not about being friends. It's. I mean, if she wanted to be, that's fine. I'm not extending like a branch to be a friend. It's just, it was just something I wanted to address. And yeah, if the opportunity came, sure, not a problem for me.
So then let's do this. Let's try to set up something where you guys can talk it out, and then let's get her to download Wag Me Defense.
This Wag Me Defense thing is
I feel like I gotta Google this. Yeah, what is this?
Download this game.
I know what it is.
Right.
But okay, so
wait.
Oh, God.
Your game is actually live and downloadable, Luis? Like, I know you're a game designer.
Yes,
but...
Apple Store right now.
I played it live.
I might have missed that part.
I'm going to be putting out an origin story on TikTok, like 10 or 9 takes to like test the virality of it. So if y'all see it, like it, repost, and comment. I'd appreciate it.
And save it.
If you send me links, I'll definitely do that, or places to go. Because I will definitely just support you, because you've always been super awesome. So, send me the places to go.
When he wants
that
to
way
be.
I don't miss it. When he wants to be. Yeah, the only time I don't like Luis is when he goes, "Oh, there's that atheism for you." But that's what I hear Nathan talking through Luis. It's like
your suck muscles.
That's right.
You're moving your suck muscles. Yeah, that's Nathan right there. We just saw him come back too this morning, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully he starts
with him around. I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's good.
Man, if you want to know my take, I would say I don't know who's in the wrong necessarily, but I love both people that are involved. I would say you don't really have to be friends with everybody. I think people are gonna be not saying that anyone involved in this particular situation was, but I think people are gonna be fucked up to people, right? And at the end of the day, you need to decide what kind of person you want to be. me personally, like, you know, like I've been through it, and honestly, I've gotten tired of like holding people accountable. It's not my job to babysit or tell people like how to be Christian or like how to be good people. So you just have to decide like what kind of person you want to be. But obviously, like you have to defend yourself. But also at the same time, like if somebody's mean to you and you turn into like a hateful, terrible person, I think that's kind of like unfair to the world that they miss out on like the amazing person that like Luis is because somebody was mean to you, hurt you, and then like you're going around like being like mean and like horrible to people, right? Like you have people who like love you and care about you. You have like your relationships, your life. Don't give power to people who like fuck you up. So like, I don't know. Yeah, you have to decide who you want to be. You have to defend yourself, obviously, but to be honest, just like protect your energy, protect your space, right? Block people that you don't like and just keep them out of your space until like they're willing to sit down with you and like apologize and hash things out and actually make an effort to like correct their actions or apologize. But I mean, you don't have to be friends with everybody, or like you don't really owe everybody your energy. And I mean, like I kind of came to that conclusion and like stopped giving everybody my energy and just blocked people. I mean, like, yeah, I used to be like, I want everybody to get along. I want the atheists and Christians and everybody to get along. But no, there's actually like shit people right out there who don't give a fuck. Yeah, like there are people who just are mean to you for no reason, and you're sitting here wondering like, what did I do? And like they don't care. They just pack up their stuff and keep it pushing. So like, it's whatever.
Yeah, I just block people. Like, I don't even have to make a scene about it. It's like, if they're just dicks or whatever, then I'll just like move along, block them. Like, and I don't know. Like, I don't even feel the need most often to particularly defend myself against anything. Like, I give people a lot. I don't know, because I feel, I guess, confident in what I think and know, and I don't feel like I have to go around defending myself just because somebody threw an insult at me. Like, okay. Like, good for you. Congratulations. Like, you can think whatever you want. And throwing ranks back and forth is what I did when I was 15 years old with all of my brothers, you know? Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah, and I think just, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, who do you want to be? The world's going to be like horrible. People are going to be dicks, but like, who do you want to be? And just
yeah,
like
exactly.
decide that. Yeah, like decide that for yourself, and then like protect your energy. Like not everybody gets your energy. It's a privilege for me to be in people's lives. So I understand that I have to respect people. And the same thing goes for like everybody here. Like it's a privilege for anybody to be in your life. So like you don't open up your life to everybody. Some people don't deserve it.
I do think there is something to be said though, for I guess for, you know, like you were saying, you know, you used to try to want everybody to get along or whatever. And obviously that will never be the case in this world, right? But I do think there is something to be said and for the value of people from opposite sides of the fence that are able to have a real conversation without the screaming, the yelling, you know, the assertions about what someone else means and speaking for them instead of for yourself. Like there's a lot to be said about that, because I think that those are the spaces that allow all of us to really explore why any of us believes what we believe and thinks what we think, and why we have the morals that we do or the values that we do, right? And so when people who are, you know, you might say like kind of pillars from one side or the other can have that, hold that space productively, I think that's very good. Because there's just so much out there where it's just people just saying, oh, you're all Satanists, you're all evil, you can't possibly have any morals, you know, like, and then on the other side, you know, it's like, you're all idiots, you don't know anything, you're brainwashed, you know, you're just a bunch of sheep. And like, what does that get anybody? It doesn't not get anybody anywhere. It doesn't get us as humanity closer to anything except for, you know, except for tribalizing ourselves, right? With little in-groups or whatever. So I mean, yeah, it's never going to be perfect, but geez, like you said, you know, we can choose to make an effort in that direction or not.
Yeah. which like I think like dialectics are more prone to like people changing their minds, while debate is obviously like competitive in nature and like a showman of like rhetoric. But I do think that sometimes people can change their minds in debates. There are rare moments, or they happen, I guess, frequently, where people are like, "Oh wow, that's like an amazing paper that you brought up, so I'm going to go read that article." But yeah, like I think like debates have like a 20% chance of people changing their minds, while like conversations or like dialectics have like a 70 or 80% chance of like changing people's minds.
Well, 100%.
Hey,
And
sorry guys.
was
We
there a
got
kid just on the screen?
Yeah, it's my baby. We're playing
Okay.
soccer. Let's see, Prince, and then Yak Lube. Y'all answer the prompts in that order, and then we can continue.
I think deconstructionists are, and I'm gonna agree with you, Luis. I think it's a certain amount. I'm not gonna say all. I don't want to generalize, but the ones who are hateful, I think that they're like more hateful than normal atheists, because at some point they were Christian and they're like extremely lacking the love of Jesus, and they realize that they need it, and so that's why they're so angry.
Hello everyone. Hey Luis, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good.
Good to have you.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Hey Coco. Hey Fairy.
What's
hey
up?
everyone.
What's up?
So this is my first time in the Christian panel in a very, very long time. But it's funny, I did want to answer the question because I think for me at least, there's a very simple answer. Just for everybody, I deconstructed between the ages of 17 and 20. So it's been a bit of a time. But to answer your question, why are some deconstructionists so hateful? I think to me, I can only speak for myself. The simple answer is because at the time when I was being very hateful towards Christians on this app, it was because I had a lot of hatred in my heart. And that's to me, the simplest answer is, and I had a lot of hate in my heart, and I'm not going to get into why, but I needed to dish it out. I think that's just, it was just therapeutic and helpful for me to dish it out. And unfortunately, Christians were on the receiving end of that. So yeah, there was a lot of hatred. What I did realize though, what took me a while to realize, is that as helpful as it was temporarily to release that anger or that hatred, it would get filled fairly quickly with more hatred, because as much as I was putting into the system, that's what I was feeding back to myself. And after like a year or so of being very active on atheist panels and even Christian panels with a lot of hatred, I realized that that's just not sustainable over a long period of time. I cannot let hatred sort of have a permanent lease in my heart. And so I backed away significantly. And I think to me, the biggest lesson from that also was that discourse and dialogue is a sacrificial lamb of debate TikTok. There's very little debate and actual discourse that happens. There's a lot of muting, there's a lot of W's, there's a lot of you're an idiot, there's a lot of vitriol. And I think that's because that's what vitriol sells. I mean, let's be honest, that's unfortunately what sells on this app. And so I think, and you know what, I would say one thing is Coco, one of the things I really love about Coco, besides that he's one of the nicest people on this app by far, is that he really tries to be very fair. He really tries to be incredibly fair on both sides. And I've always appreciated that about him. So if you don't follow Coco, definitely follow him. He's an amazing creator and he hosts his debates. But sorry, going back to the question, I think that's why I just had a lot of hatred in my heart and I needed to find an outlet for it. And debate TikTok and specifically going anti-Christian was, the way to do it.
But Coco, are you also that nice when you shit talk people while playing video games?
I mean, I don't really like shit talk people while playing video games. Like, not really. I mean, like,
that's
I don't really
the best part.
I don't think I've ever really done it, actually. It's just not my thing. But yeah, like I've heard Call of Duty lobbies and bruh, like it gets bad in the trenches.
I stay away from that. That's what debate TikTok is for.
One of the things that you said I thought was interesting was that, dialogues get further than debates. And I mean, I love debating. So that's like my own personal, but I still agree with you. And I think that that's because ultimately, I think that it is far more human tendency to make decisions based on feelings than on things that are like hard rationality. And when we're having a regular dialogue, it is easier for people to relate to it, and because they can relate to it in a feeling kind of a way, then they're more likely to like be swayed one way or the other. I think this is also one of the things that makes religion so powerful, right? Like, is that it is speaking to how people feel, not the rationality of, pure reason, if you will. So I definitely agree that like dialogue
So
spaces
I
are
just
better.
I
yeah. So this actually went very well. Nobody like cussing at each other or being disrespectful. So I appreciate all of you panelists for keeping it real and keeping it decent here. So I need someone to drop though because I want to bring Kate up. So if anyone's willing to drop for Kate,
I'll drop.
Goodbye.
appreciate you, Breezy.
Easy breezy. Lemon squeezy.
I would like
Appreciate you.
someone. You got Jungle for like saying something about atheist rage. I would. I get very angry when I hear people say things like it's not a sin to own slaves, or that you would sacrifice your children for that. That's when I rage when I hear stuff like that. You
Yeah,
know.
I do think the one thing that gets me a little bit riled is when people kind of are doing apologetics for, things to do with young children or things to do against women. Like, that gets me a little grossed out. What's the one that Forrest had a few weeks ago? He had on his screen, if God
If God,
told you to schmurder your kid, would you do it? And the sheer
Yeah.
number of people that said yes was absolutely appalling to me. And I was
1,000.
Yeah,
just
it's
like,
and yeah,
ooh.
I mean, it's rage bait. Forces my friend, but man, we both know it's rage bait. Um, and yes, people do say pretty controversial things on there sometimes too. What's up, Kate? You want to go ahead and answer the panel? Answer the prompt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. What's up, Lewis? How are you?
I'm just here, feeding the kids and doing a panel. I don't know if that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I was seeing your live. I was like, oh wow, Lewis is. It was my off day, and
I never,
what?
I never go. I really don't go live, but I was like, why not? I had an
Yeah, yeah,
interaction
yeah.
with
I'm
someone
happy to.
yesterday, so
I'm happy to
yeah.
see you live. I think when it comes to the question that is being asked, it's like everything else. These people are human too. They're human. You have to remember all deconstructionists, because you're asking about a specific type of person, they felt like they have been lied to. They have been lied to. And many of them have spent a quarter or most of what is left of their life serving this religion. And and then coming out of that, you're going through the stages of grief dealing with that. So I think that we need to keep that in mind while talking to deconstructionists. I'm not a deconstructionist. I don't entertain that side of TikTok. I'm just strictly an atheist, and I hold the prompts that I hold when I want to hold them. But one thing that I did notice is that the people that are deconstructing are very visceral. They're very mean. They're very nasty. And I have to take a step back and say, okay, well, why? They're going through the stages of grief. You're going to be angry. You felt like you were lied to. And then when you sit here and have the conversations with the Christians, they just can't be honest to save their life, which is indirectly
Right.
ignoring what you just went through, what you just got out of, and they're indirectly telling you that you are a liar after you just experienced this.
I love that you said that, stages of grief. I think that is so accurate. I wish I could have been that
So
succinct.
But that's
Yeah.
exactly what it
yeah,
is.
I think those are fair points, and like for me, uh, I understand that, and that's why like most of the time I think I'm pretty nice to most people because of that, regardless if they don't believe what I believe. But I think for me, because of the experience I had yesterday and before with other people, it kind of begs the question like, is it really fair to what I would call trauma dump on anonymous people who can be perfectly good people? They just happen to be part of the religion that somehow hurt you. And that's sort of the question is that fair? Because the
That's not.
individuals, the
You're,
indi- the what?
that's not fair. That's not
We can't hear you.
fair.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm
Either.
getting to. That's what I'm getting to is that
One
I
second.
don't like, yeah, you're cutting off a lot, Kate. I'm getting to where it's not fair to do that. Like trauma dumping on people is just not fair. It's like either have the conversation, or if you don't want to have the conversation, that's fine. But I think that to a certain degree, even if you are going through those phases of what are they called? Phases of
Grief.
I don't know what you call them, Kate, but grief.
Grief.
Yeah, you have to be very careful because then you're exhibiting the very same behavior that you're saying the Christian exhibits. So it's sort of incompatible with what you're saying. And to me, I think we have to be careful to not be the person that's hurt and starts bleeding on everybody else, because to some degree, I think that's not fair to individuals like myself who come in with in good faith
Absolutely.
and are trying to have a conversation. And you know me, Kay, I've been on your panel
And you
plenty of
know,
times.
yeah. I say that, the way I talk and what I said, you can't sit there. You can walk around with your wounds, but it's not okay to bleed on people, you know. And I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's fair for you not to realize the bigger picture. Because at the very beginning of your conversation, you said that you're meeting new people and then you're just acting the exact same way to new people. Remember, people who are deconstructing aren't seeing a new person. All they're seeing is the religion, the thing that hurt them. So what will make you think that the thing that hurt them, they would not act that way towards, whether, quote unquote, it's a new person or not? I think sometimes in life, we need to take a step back at human beings and look at when someone is talking to us or at us. Most of the time, deconstructionists are lashing out. They're talking at you because they see the religion. It's not about you. I understand some of the things that has happened to me the past couple of weeks when my name is being dragged and da-da-da-da-da from other deconstruction. I get it. You're not talking at Kate. You're literally just talking at me because the things that you're saying are not conducive. So remember that when the deconstructionists are coming at you, the atheists are coming at you, they're talking at the religion. They're angry at the religion. They're upset because you're reminding them of the thing that hurt them. It is a direct trauma response in the brain. They're triggered.
Yeah,
Why would they be?
yeah, of course. I think in general you're correct, but what happened to me yesterday, I don't want to repeat again. It was a little more personal.
What happened yesterday, friend?
Personal. I just got into it with Thinker, and she just
whoa. The Thinker?
Yeah. Yes. And I'm not hurt, so I'm just gonna make it clear. I'm not upset. None of that. I'm bringing up the topic because I think it's a good topic. That's the only reason. And basically, some things were said.
Out of respect, both of you are my friends, so I'm staying out of that. I don't want to know. I just want to stay out of it. Both of y'all are my friends.
Okay.
Both of y'all are mutuals.
Okay.
Yeah, both of y'all. I would just like to stay out of it. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, and I wouldn't make you choose
because
anyway.
I'm the atheist that will stand up for the truth and stand up and say, "Hey, I don't want to hear this about a friend."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
then you wouldn't want to know for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I don't want you to lose a friend.
Yeah, and I'm not a fake hog.
Hey, King, I think you're hitting on, to me, was the fundamental question. And I struggle with this question. I don't know where to draw the line, to be honest. I'm exploring it right now. Where do you draw the line between the church as the institution and the people and the followers? Because I think that to me is where I cross the line between going from hatred to just listening and understanding. But I think separating the two, which is really difficult, I don't know where to draw the line, is what's at the crux here, to be honest. I think you and Luis just nailed it.
Yeah, and Kate and we've been friends now for a little bit, so we've kind of, I mean, in my opinion, Kate, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like we actually have been pretty good friends. There's not really been like this dynamic of vitriol or anything like that. We just have discussions and,
Never.
we just kind of move on.
Yeah, we
So
just
anyway,
converse,
I'll
move
let you
on.
opine on it.
But I think Lewis, one of the biggest difference, because if you ever pay attention, Lewis, I have a lot of people that come to my live that are Christian that I'm very friendly with. They're very friendly with me. We can consider each other, mutuals or cool. You, I consider your friend. I mean, we just talk and we're just honest. And but see, I guess one of the biggest issues is, or one of the things is that I deconstructed from this religion when I was 10 years old. I'm 36. So, I had a lot of time to grieve, a lot of time to walk away, a lot of time to get the fuck over my emotions and feelings. You have a lot of deconstructionists and a lot of atheists are still walking with their feelings and emotions, which is okay. That's for them to deal with. But you never did shit to me, Louis. I think you're cool as shit. I think you're real. That's one thing that I see in you that I don't see in a lot of Christians or atheists. Realness. You are real. And it's hard to find that. You're just a real person. So yeah. Yes, 10 years old. Mm-hmm.
I
And I
appreciate
will,
that.
and I will say how we ultimately engage in that discussion. It's up to you. Like, I think we can take. I mean, we are hurt. I think as King, you were saying, like, people go through grief. I do get that very much. But I think ultimately it is your choice to be here. It is just your choice to jump on the panel. It is your choice to either act with hatred or not. It is your choice to listen. And sometimes you may not be in the position where you're ready to do that because you are going through the grieving process, but it is a choice. I do know that.
Well, see, I want to respond to something real quick. Why are they asking for Christians if they're in pain? You didn't deconstruct by yelling and screaming. You don't go about that. Yes, I do. You can ask Lewis. I go the fuck off on my panels. I say some of the most disrespectful, bizarre shit you will ever hear. And I get off and I'm like, dang, girl, you didn't have to do them like that. I'm a human. You don't have a right to tell the person that is hurting, you should not feel this way or you should not react this way. You don't have a right to do that, especially when it's coming from your religion. You have no right to do that. To sit there and watch them try to pick up the pieces, because remember, it's their first time living too, pick up the pieces of themselves that they thought that the religion broke, try to mend them back together, and you're saying, but I don't like the way you're doing it. Who the fuck are you to tell someone how to grieve? If you don't like it, leave their platform. It's simple. Or remember that you're a Christian and just forgive them.
Based.
Well, I would say, Kate, the only thing I would disagree with there is, I guess if it is their platform, yes, just leave. Uh, but it's sort of like, I don't know. I struggle with this because even me, like this platform, I guess because I'm not so combative as some of these panels, I struggle with understanding why it has to be that way, right? Because to me, it's like I've told you and many other people, like I can be a hypersensitive person. I don't like to hurt people's feelings because I know what it is to feel hurt and walk through life like in shambles, and so I'm very careful with that. But at the same time, don't get me wrong, I'll put my foot on your neck. I've said that many times too. If you cross the line, but to me, uh, I feel like I'm talking about more so when it's like you let a Christian up, and there's six people who just want to beat up on the person just because. It's different when you're trying to have a conversation, and uh, I've seen when you've tried to have conversations, and sometimes they are very hateful toward you. You'll kick them, but I've seen how you'll try to let them talk and have that conversation. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about let them up, beat them up, and then mod abuse them, then kick them off and feel better about your day. And
Yeah,
that's
but
what I
you
have an
but you
issue
but you
with.
know Christians do this all the time to
Exactly,
atheists
and I call them
when
out
they
too.
make
Yeah.
posts about atheists,
Like it
and
anywhere
we
I
go
go.
up there and they
Yeah.
jump us, kick our asses, and
Yeah.
drop us, or we don't get more than 2 goddamn words out because we're constantly being muted or whatever the case may be. That's why I don't go on Christian panels.
Yeah, but both sides
Right.
do that. Both sides do that for sure. I have seen it on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Both
Yeah,
sides. That's why I started
absolutely.
my entire argument with we're all human. We all do it. The Christians do it. The atheists do it. Every single thing that you can say and anybody on this panel can say about what deconstructionists do, Christians do it as well. We're all human.
I
We're
can
all
legit
hurting.
say
We're all grieving. Go ahead, baby.
this is like legit the only Christian panel I've ever been on where that didn't happen to me is right here, right now, today. Like every Christian panel I've ever been on has been like, well, maybe there was one guy that I was, but it wasn't really a panel. It was more like a one-on-one debate, and he was debating AB. He was Christian, obviously I'm not, but and he didn't kick me off, but he definitely was like, you're out in left field, lady, and said things like that a lot before finally it was like, okay, like, we just kind of wore the debate down, and then I left, but that wasn't really like a panel, like this is. This is legit the only, every other time it's been dogpile, and just like you said, dogpile, mute, talk over, call names, and out you go.
Right.
Yeah,
And I don't like that on atheist channels either, to be honest.
Cry.
Like, I don't go to atheist channels that are like that because I just like, what is the point? It's just stupid.
What is the point? Y'all are so disrespectful to these people, and then y'all turn around and act just like the goddamn Christians. I said on my channel the other day, ain't a damn thing different from an atheist and a Christian but Jesus. Y'all hoes left Jesus, but y'all still carry all the baggage of Christianity. Oh, I went off several times last week on atheists. So, Lewis, don't think somebody's not calling their own people out. I have called all of them out multiple times on their disgusting behavior. Y'all acting just like the Christians. And then want to get up here and talk about the damn Christians. That don't make no sense to me.
But I would also say, like, and Luis, I think you were there, but on Force's panel the other day, the guy called BZE, he stood there for about 5 hours, I think, on a panel full of wave after wave of atheists, and he just took it. He really, and I give him a lot of respect for that, because as much as everybody was hating on him, he literally would just take the questions one at a time and just kind of go through them. I didn't agree with most of the stuff he said, but I do give him respect for just standing his ground and doing it in a very calm way. And I do appreciate that.
But y'all Christian lives are visceral.
They are so for sure. I mean, atheists too, but yeah.
I've never seen the atheist live just sit there and drag somebody about the way they look, the way they sound, just being prejudiced and homophobic, transphobic. But you Christians, I've seen that in y'all's live. Y'all are visceral and disrespectful. All while talking about Jesus loves you. Girl, don't get me started on that. Y'all are disgusting.
All right. All right. So does anybody want to drop for someone else?
I will, Lewis.
There's like several
it's probably my day
requests.
off anyway. I will. I'll see you later.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Take care of yourself. Okay, bye everybody.
All right.
Have a good
All
night.
right. We'll see you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, King.
Likewise.
Oh, it got quiet.
I think we were
Everybody
waiting for a
answered
new
the panel,
person.
so yeah, we're just waiting on another person.
Yeah.
Coco, what you playing?
Fortnite.
You on Discord later? We should play.
Hello? Okay.
I'm down. Yeah, like during my streams or outside of streams. Hell yeah, I'm down.
All right, Mother. Would you like to answer the prompt?
Oh, hey guys, thanks for bringing me in. Yeah, so let me preface by saying that I am atheist, and I've been listening to your chat for a little bit, and everyone is very respectful. I appreciate that. Why are some Deconstruction is so hateful. So I debate a lot on TikTok. And I've encountered quite a bit of hate. I venture to say that the answer to that is when you challenge their core beliefs from an evidence-based perspective, that they want to defend their religion and their God so strongly that somehow it just shakes rage out of them. But I'm more than happy to have a very respectful discussion. If anyone has any questions for me as an atheist and as an atheist debater.
Oh no.
All right.
I don't really have any questions.
I wanted
Yeah, I
I
mean,
wanted to come up and oh, go ahead, Lou.
go ahead, Breezy. Go ahead, Breezy.
I wanted to come up and well she left now, but I wanted to say I wasn't saying that you can't react in certain ways. That's human nature. What I was saying is when something brings you immeasurable amounts of pain, the worst thing to do is just go head on with that thing every day, right? So if I have like a abusive stepfather, the worst thing for me to do is go up to the house every day and just yell at him, and then in return, my little brother yell at him for calling him brainwashed. That's not helping anybody. That's counterproductive. I think you should take some time to heal so you can approach these things with composure and talk about these things without rubbing feathers or just being angry and holding hate in your heart for something that you don't even believe exists. So I think certain things are just counterproductive for the goal.
No, like I agree with you. Like it's counterproductive. But actually, I can even relate to what Kate was saying. Like whenever I left Roman Catholicism initially, yeah, from the get go, I was like an anti-theist. I was like, yeah, anyone who said Jesus, I literally want to debate them and destroy them because like I literally felt like I was lied to and like I felt my whole entire world like crumbling apart. And I thought God was gonna like give me my life purpose or tell me like what I'm supposed to do with my life. But yeah, like I totally understand. Like it's kind of like not really productive, but also like people don't have that luxury. Like we live in like some people live in America where like a majority of people are like Christian or like I live in like the Bible Belt of like America, so like a majority of people are Christian and like families Christian, and all sorts of stuff. So it's like people don't really have that luxury. But I guess like getting on TikTok and like ripping people apart is probably like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, but real life and TikTok is like two different things. TikTok live is going head on. You have to make it a point to clash with your opposite mindset. So when you go on TikTok live and or say you see a Christian in public, that's different, right? So you don't just talk about Christianity in public every day. You don't go head on with Christianity every day. But when you see these TikTok live who purposely aiming to go at Christians, I don't think that's a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I think sometimes, like, I think communication is hard. Period.
Yeah.
You know, we people don't get a degree in communication because it is an easy thing to learn how to do. You know, and like so, like just like a little personal story as an example. You know, I was raised in a household where it didn't matter. It didn't matter how rational you were when you argued with each other. It mattered how loud you were, how long you could be loud, and how good of insults you could throw at each other. And whoever could do that the loudest and the longest and the best was the winner of the argument, regardless of what your damn point was, right? And I had to learn how to actually have an argument with somebody, or to make, maybe argument's the wrong word, but I had to learn how to make whatever point I wanted to make with somebody in a way that wasn't screaming at them, because that was the environment that I grew up in, right? And I think that, you know, things like that are probably true for a huge number of people. You know, they maybe maybe they are coming from a place where they literally have never had anybody just say, hey, there's real ways that you can actually make these arguments that you want to be making, right? Like you don't, and maybe they've just never encountered it, never encountered those kind, like somebody that will talk to them like that, you know, and be patient with them and show them those things. You know, I mean, I like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt, you know, before I you know chuck them out the window, if you will. And you know, because I don't know their life story, and it, like, I changed significantly, you know, from where I grew up. Like I am nothing like everybody in my family that when it comes to this kind of thing, like arguing, debating, anything. I am nothing like any of them. And it's because I went out and I met people that took the time to introduce me to new things and, you know, ways of thinking and tools to have for communication. And it changed the course of my whole life. And so I like to, you know, I would like to think that, you know, maybe that's really just what's going on with other people as well. Maybe they're just coming from a place where they've literally never encountered those things. And so the only tool that they have in their toolbox is a hammer. And you know what they say, you know, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail and you have to hit it, right? So, so sometimes I don't even think that, like, there necessarily, like, is a conscious reason. It's just maybe the background that people come from or the environment that they have been in, you know.
So,
everybody's...
Yeah, so before we continue, why don't y'all go ahead and tap that screen, send some gifts to your favorite panelists, share the live if you like the vibes here. And yeah, let's continue. Breezy, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what do you mean by conscious reason?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so for example, like with myself, I'll just use me as an example because it's the, you know, I don't want to presume for other people, but like for myself, I didn't even realize when I was young, right, that until even when I got out into the real world and on my own, you know, at 18, I didn't realize that the way that my family argued was not the way that everybody argued.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
Right? Like, so I just, that's how I thought everybody was until I had a friend, a lifelong, very good friend of mine. It was really kind of hilarious how, like, really this is like the person that I credit with like most singularly opening the door to everything else. Like, we were like 20 and we were roommates and we got in an argument one day about where to go for lunch because he was a vegetarian and I wasn't. And we get in this argument because he wanted to go to Burgerville and I wanted to go to Burger King. It was that stupid. And I just instantly went from like 0 to pissed, right? Like, that's where I want to go. I don't want to go to your stupid place. And it's like, why do you want to go there? Because I do. And that was my answer. And then, you know, and so he tried to make an argument and I wouldn't even listen to him. I was like, no, fuck you. This is where I want to go. And then I just stomped off into my room and I slammed the door. And then when he like came and tried to talk to me, I was like, fuck you, go away. And I did that all night. Right. And at one point though, he kind of said through the door at me, he's like, you know, because isn't a reason, but I can teach you how to make a reason. And I was like, fuck you, go away. And so he did. And then he came back like the next day. I came out of my room after I was now not mad anymore. And I just said, I want you to teach me what you know. And he just slapped right into my hand. Like the first thing, he was just like, here you go. Here's Plato's Republic. Just start here. And then I did. And that was my first introduction to philosophy. But it really was a whole new world for me because I didn't even realize that there were tools to be had, you know? But as soon as I began learning this stuff, I just immediately incorporated it, right? And I think that not everybody does that. I do think there are people that you can be like, no, really, there's ways to do this, and they just stay in the mode that I was in, which was fuck you, go away, you know. But a lot of people I think will, take those
So
things to
very,
heart,
very
and because they
sorry
don't.
to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Sorry to
I'm
interrupt.
monologuing.
No, you're good. It's just we have Tiffany up here, my sister Tiffany. Go ahead, answer the prompt.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. Why are some deconstructionists so hateful? Because when you, how can I say this? When you feel like something is opposing you, you can become defensive, and I think that can happen on both sides. Sorry, my boyfriend playing the game in the background, but so honestly, I'd say that it's just because they're going in defense mode. So I mean, that's what I chalk it up to. Hey Tally, oh my gosh, I was wondering where she's been.
Feel that.
Thanks. Does anybody else have anything else to say?
Well, I was going to
go ahead, please. No, go ahead.
I was going to add that what Ferry was saying was very true. But I think the fundamental difference is people, the most deconstructionists know they have a problem. They just refuse to I don't know what the word I'm looking for. They refuse to heal themselves, so they just want to yell at people. They know they have a problem, but they're not taking the necessary steps to heal these people. So when they do come to these conversations, they could compose themselves. And Christians do these things too, but I think the fundamental difference is, they don't want to change because it gives them an excuse to be an a-hole. That's just human nature.
I think that's one of the things I like about the, like the kind of these, like the current generations, I think it's wonderful how much more mentally, like mental health awareness that there is out there, how much more emotionally aware, people are becoming, because I think it helps with all of this kind of stuff. And I mean, I think you're right. A lot of people just don't want to, because then they're just like, oh, just human nature to be an asshole. Like, no, you're lazy. Be quiet. But you're right. They do that for sure.
So we have
and hi, Tally.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we have a new guest, Miss Tally. Compliments. Welcome. Would you like to answer the prompt?
Sure. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I've thought a lot about it, and the things that you guys say are absolutely true. I think also what I observed in conversations I've had, like with friends who are not on the app, so maybe they don't get the full breadth of, how some of these interactions can go. But in those conversations, we kind of talk about what might motivate a person, aside from, yes, true, they may not have had the tools. But then also I think that there are people who haven't had their boundaries respected. And so when they come across someone who says, I just want to have a conversation with you, I don't want to fight, and I would ask that you not speak to me this way, that their experience of having their boundaries not be respected might make them think that your boundaries are not valid. And sometimes it seems like they are engaging in a manner that they wish they had have been able to in other circumstances in their life. I don't feel responsible for that, and I also don't believe I have to engage with people like that. So I don't.
You mean like if they weren't respected someplace else, they have like a hurt or an anger or whatever it is they may have, and then they take that out elsewhere, or they try to make up for the fact that, sort of like when you're after the fact, you're like, oh, I wish I would have said that comeback at the time of the argument.
Yes.
And so then they go someplace else and they say that comeback.
Yeah. And on the internet, people can be whoever they want, and that some people choose to be, violent, it's got to be something. I don't think anyone is born with inset behaviors. They had to learn the behavior. That's where what you guys are talking about comes in handy. But how they choose to proceed, that's on them. Which is why when you talk about once you were confronted with the opportunity to learn a new way to engage with people, you did. You took on those skills and said, I'm going to employ these. I prefer actually this method. And I think that a lot of people aren't there yet.
Absolutely.
But
And
also,
Kelly, I think what you, oh, sorry,
I
were you,
crave violence.
right. You see, and I think that's exactly it, right? Like, Tally, you make a really good point. The way I might even put a caveat on this prompt is, why are some deconstructionists on TikTok so hateful? Because I know plenty of deconstructionists who are not hateful at all, who do not engage in these kinds of debates. So I think if we have to separate TikTok from real life, and I think that sometimes if we spend a lot of time on TikTok, we tend to think, oh, this must be real, this must be close to real life or a microcosm of it. But it doesn't have to be. There's a lot of self-selection that happens in these spaces. And I absolutely agree with you, Tally, that it is a choice how you engage. Absolutely.
Honestly, I was thinking about this right after that thing that Forrest did a couple weeks ago that I was talking about earlier, because I was so astonished by the responses, and it got me thinking that I wonder sometimes if, like, yes, of course it's true, like our algorithm and we like self-selection and things like that here on TikTok, but also it just made me wonder how many people on my Facebook that I'm friends with, in real life, how many people do I know that would have answered that way if they had come across this question? And I don't know it because I don't really talk with them about it, right? This, like, here is where I talk to people about religion and philosophy and whatever it is that, happens to be the debate. I don't really talk about that too much on my Facebook. I only do that with very, very close friends, right? And then I was like, geez, I wonder how many people out here would have actually answered this way. And I wonder sometimes if TikTok shows us maybe a little more of a true lens of what people actually think, because there's more anonymity here, and that was sort of terrifying because I sort of had this like reverse, yeah,
or they're showing us the most rage baiting people. That could be the case as well.
That's what I
yeah, no, I mean, there's no way to really know, I suppose, but it was a really terrifying thought to think, like, oh my God, like what if it's actually, what if TikTok is actually showing me what is more real than what my other digital world that's out there? And I was like, that's so terrifying.
I don't think that. I think that most people are safely insulated within their communities, and they're not going to be confronted with the kind of discourse that happens on these panels, especially here in the States, where atheists represent, I think, like 5 to 7% of the population. They're just not going to meet any atheists. They're just from you and you say something I don't like, it's not like the most common reaction isn't going to be for me to pick up the mashed potatoes and throw them in your face and call you a dirty, stinking whatever thing about you I don't like. So,
atheist.
Yeah.
Dirty stinking atheist.
I think these are like,
you can say it.
hyperactive, like, responses or something.
I'm just giving Ferry some PTSD with Nate's atheist call outs.
Yeah, I hear you. I see you right there. It's okay. You can say it, Tally. I know how you feel about us atheists.
No, I'm talking about my own life. I began to distance myself from Christianity when I was like 17. And I didn't even know the word atheist. I just knew I didn't want, there was just too much that wasn't making sense to me. And the dynamics of the community wasn't what I wanted to be a part of. All that, but when I'm sitting around the kitchen table with my aunties, if they wanna grab my hand for a prayer, what I'm gonna do is snatch it back from my auntie. Yeah. Like no. And also being an atheist at that point, my thought towards it was, I mean, what's it really hurting? They're praying to nothing. So, I mean, whatever. I'll hold your hand. It's fine.
That's kind of funny because I would do the same thing. Like, I would not snatch my hand, but no, I wouldn't do that. But I will say this, I have a difficult time when I'm in any kind of like a setting, like it's like, okay, well, like let us pray or whatever. I have a difficult time bowing my head and praying because I feel like that is an active lie on my part to be doing that. And so while I can be quiet and respectful, I'll hold your hand if holding hands is what you do. But to do the thing that I feel like symbolizes praying, I feel like would just be actively dishonest of me. And I really have a difficult time doing that. The only times I've ever done that, this is going to sound terrible. The only times I've really ever been able to do that without, are when I had determined that, nope, I'm actively going here and I'm going to actively pretend to be Christian so that I can do this thing. And I knew that that's what I was doing and that was my goal. But like in a regular everyday setting, even like if I go to church with somebody, it's like, this is people's faith or whatever. And I know that I am not praying to anything. I don't believe in this God. And it would just be like, I don't know. It somehow feels bad to me to do that. So, and mind you, I've only ever faked it a few times. So.
But you don't have to pray. But you don't have to pray when you go to church with somebody. You don't have to pray when you hold hands with somebody around the dinner table and the host is Christian, right? I think that to me, there's a difference between being respectful and being respectful and standing your ground. Like, I can certainly join hands if I'm being hosted at somebody's house that's Christian. They want to pray around the table. I'll hold a hand. I'm not going to pray, but I will do it. And I think to me, that distinction is important.
Yeah, I just feel like I would be, I don't know. I just feel like that's not me. I don't believe that. And it would be lying, for like a form of lying, to go through those motions very insincerely, And so, yeah, I guess maybe you're right. Like, it's okay to stand your ground, I guess, if you will. Yeah. I don't want, I guess I just always, I don't want them to be offended by me not praying, but also I don't want to pray and do this thing that is just completely hollow,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which one is worse? I think it's, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, thank you guys for coming. I am going to have to shut it down because I've got a couple of things to take care of with the family, but I will probably run this again another time, and we'll have some good discussions another time. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, Luis.
Have a good night.